The dark psychology behind people-pleasing. You probably know someone like this. They never say no. They help everyone, even when they are exhausted. They cancel their own plans without complaining. Everyone calls them kind. Everyone says they're selfless. But no one notices what happens after they close the door. The smile disappears. Their shoulders drop. And for a moment, they wonder why they're always the one sacrificing. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people-pleasers aren't being kind. They're trying to survive. And once you understand why, you'll never look at being nice the same way again. It usually begins much earlier than people realize. Not with a single traumatic event, but with small moments that quietly teach a child one dangerous lesson. Imagine a little boy who says no to his mother for the first time. She doesn't shout, she doesn't punish him. She simply becomes distant. Her voice turns cold. The warmth disappears from the room. To an adult, it may seem insignificant. But to a child, it feels like something much bigger. Because a child's brain depends on connection for survival. When love suddenly feels uncertain, the nervous system doesn't see disappointment. It sees danger. Without realizing it, the child makes a silent promise. I'll never disappoint you again. From that day forward, being agreeable feels safe. Being useful feels safe. Making everyone happy feels safe. Over time, this pattern becomes automatic. Psychologists describe this through attachment theory. When love feels conditional, children often grow into adults who believe they must earn acceptance instead of simply receiving it. Years later, the child becomes an adult. Nothing has changed on the outside, but inside, that old survival program is still running. Now they say yes to extra work they don't have time for. Yes to favors they don't want to do. Yes to relationships that leave them emotionally drained. Every yes feels easier than risking someone's disappointment. The strange part is, most people don't even realize they are afraid. They call it kindness. They call it loyalty. They call it being a good person. But underneath those labels is a nervous system asking the same question over and over again. If I stop giving, will they still choose me? This is why people-pleasing is so exhausting. Your brain never truly relaxes. It constantly scans people's faces, their tone of voice, their text messages, looking for any sign that someone might be upset. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for detecting threats, can become overly sensitive in chronic approval seekers. Even small disagreements begin to feel emotionally dangerous. Your body responds as if something terrible is about to happen. Your heart beats faster. Your muscles tighten. Stress hormones like cortisol remain elevated for far longer than they should. Living this way is like carrying an invisible alarm system that never turns off. And eventually, that constant pressure begins to change you. Not because you're weak, because no nervous system was designed to live in permanent survival mode. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. People-pleasing isn't only driven by fear. Sometimes, it's also an attempt to control what other people think about us. That sounds uncomfortable, maybe even unfair. But stay with me. If I always agree with you, you won't reject me. If I'm always available, you'll never leave me. If I never upset anyone, I'll finally feel safe. It doesn't look like control. It looks like kindness. But the goal isn't generosity. The goal is preventing abandonment. And that's a very different thing. The problem is, this strategy comes with a hidden cost. Every time you ignore your own needs to protect someone else's feelings, a small amount of resentment begins to grow. quietly, almost invisibly. At first, you don't notice it. You keep smiling, you keep helping, you keep saying, "It's fine," even when it isn't. Every unspoken no becomes another brick in a wall of silent resentment. You don't resent people because they asked. You resent yourself because you never felt safe enough to refuse. For weeks, months, sometimes years, you convince yourself you're doing the right thing. Until one ordinary day, someone asks for one more favor, one more phone call, one more weekend, one more sacrifice. And suddenly, you explode. Not because of that one request, but because it carried the weight of every request that came before it. People around you are confused. Why are they overreacting? But they never saw the invisible pressure building inside you. Because people pleasers rarely express frustration. They collect it. Then they release it all at once. If any of these feels familiar, try something simple. Picture someone you care about asking you for something you genuinely don't want to do. Now, imagine saying one small word, "No." What happens inside your body? For many people, the answer comes instantly. A tight chest, a racing heart, a knot in the stomach, a wave of guilt. It feels wrong, even before the other person has responded. That's because your nervous system isn't reacting to the present. It's reacting to the past. Somewhere deep inside, your brain still believes that disappointing someone means losing them. But here's the truth, your nervous system never had the chance to learn. Healthy relationships don't collapse because of healthy boundaries. In fact, they become stronger because of them. The people who truly care about you don't need a version of you that never says no. They need the real you, the honest you, the person who has limits, feelings, and needs of their own. Without boundaries, there is no authenticity. And without authenticity, there can never be real connection. So, where do you begin? Not with a dramatic life change. Not by cutting everyone off. Just one small boundary. This week, say no to one thing that drains you. Let yourself feel the anxiety. Don't run from it. Observe it. You may be surprised by what happens next. Most of the time, the relationship survives. The world doesn't end. Nobody walks away. And your brain quietly begins to learn something new. Maybe saying no isn't dangerous after all. That's how healing works. Not in one giant breakthrough, but in small moments that slowly teach your nervous system a different story. A story where your worth isn't measured by how much you sacrifice. A story where love doesn't have to be earned. A story where being yourself is finally enough. People-pleasing isn't a personality. It's a survival strategy. And survival strategies can be unlearned. You don't become stronger by saying yes to everyone. You become stronger the moment you stop abandoning yourself to keep other people comfortable. Because the goal was never to become nicer. The goal was always to become brave enough, to be real. If this story made you see yourself in a new way, then its purpose was fulfilled. Because understanding yourself is the first step toward changing your life. This is Vera Mind, where we explore the hidden psychology behind everyday human behavior, one story at a time. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and tell us, who first made you afraid of disappointing others? Someone out there may read your story and realize they're not alone. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and remember, the greatest relationship you'll ever build is the one you have with your own mind.